everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is April 25th, 2026. So my name is Mo, and welcome to the post-match live analysis where we analyze Barcelona matches usually as soon as they end. Today, I'm doing it like, I don't know, 12 hours later. No, less 8 hours later. That's because last night I went out, got home at 5:30 in the morning, went to sleep, woke up at 10 to watch the match, then took my dog to the groomer, then did some errands, came back at home at 2 p.m. and went back to sleep. But anyways, what a day. I'm up, and I'm here to talk about Barcelona's victory over Getafe 0-2 at Getafe Stadium, the Coliseum, with goals of Fermin, Lopez, and Marcus Rashford. An incredibly important victory for Barcelona, not because it's Getafe, not because all of a sudden Getafe is like the Bayern Munich of La Liga. No, but because what it means for La Liga title race. Because before this weekend, what was expected was that Real Madrid was going to win their respective match against Real Betis, and that Barcelona was going to most likely drop points against Getafe, because Barcelona hadn't won a game against Getafe at their stadium since 2019. Since 2019, Barcelona have not won at Getafe Stadium. So the expectation was that Barcelona was going to drop points, that Real Madrid were going to win their respective match, that the distance was going to be shortened. And as such, as many Madridistas were saying, that the title race was on. Especially because, we have a Clásico match. So a lot of people thought, or a lot of Madridistas, a lot of delusional people thought that, well, this was their chance. And what happened? The total opposite. Barcelona won their respective match, and it was Real penalties who dropped points. And now Barcelona are 11 points clear of Real Madrid. I'll say that again, 11 points clear of Real Madrid with only 5 matches left in the season. A significant lead over Real penalties with very few matches left in this season. Now, this doesn't mean La Liga title race is over. Of course, it's not over, but it's going to be highly improbable that Barcelona don't end up winning this La Liga title. Now, next match is, of course, against Osasuna. It won't be an easy match either, especially since it's an away match. Then after that, we do have El Clásico match. And I know yesterday I was doing the math and during the podcast, but I realized I made a huge mistake. My math wasn't mathing. After all, that's why I'm a lawyer, because math, not my strong suit. But I thought, for some reason, I was under the impression that if we won today, which we did, we would be 12 points ahead of Real Madrid, which meant if we won against Osasuna, it would be over. But that's not the case, because it's 11 points. We're ahead of 11 points. So if we win against Osasuna, and if Real Madrid win their respective match, I think they're playing against Espanyol, La Liga title would still be alive. The race would still be alive, and would still have a chance at becoming champions in El Clásico match if we beat or draw against Real penalties at the Camp Nou, which to me, that's the ideal scenario, right? Becoming champions by beating Real Madrid at the Camp Nou in the first El Clásico match since the Camp Nou reopened. I think that would be absolutely historic. But if Real penalties drop points and we win against Osasuna next weekend, Barcelona will be champions. Now, of course, if that happens, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe we became champions before the Clásico. I'll be happy. But of course, I would much rather we become champions by beating Real Madrid in El Clásico at the Camp Nou. I think that would be absolutely amazing. But anyways, let's not count our chickens before they hatch. Or, yeah, that's the saying, right? Because we still have a few matches left. We still have to win. We still have to get the points before becoming champions. Now, as I mentioned, of course, Barcelona beat Getafe today for the first time in their stadium since 2019. And Getafe, that's a very tough team to be in their stadium, not because they're such an amazing team, but given the low resources, given the low quality that they have, it's actually pretty impressive how strong they are in their stadium. And that's, of course, because it's their style of football, right? It's a style of football that's very physical, a style that's all about disruption, right? Create as many fouls as you can, go to the ground every time you feel a contact, pretend that a sniper took out your knee every time you feel a contact. It is just waste time and just disrupt, and try to disrupt the flow of the opposing team as much as possible to where the other team cannot build plays, to where the other team cannot create chances, and then, hope for a draw or base case scenario, long pass to one of your strikers and maybe they can score and then you can end up getting a win, right? That's their style. That's always been their style. Incredibly anti-football. They don't look to build anything. They don't look to create anything. They just look to destroy, and hope for a draw or base case scenario, maybe a victory. And it works for them. It works for them. Um, and of course, that's something that Barcelona have always struggled against, but not today. Not today. And it was all thanks to a tactical genius, tactical brilliance by the German Hansi Flick, because what he did today was absolutely amazing. Now, the first thing that Hansi Flick did was treat the game, the stadium, or the pitch, I should say, as a one big rondo. Now, if you don't know what a rondo is, rondo in Spanish, that's when the players form a circle, they pass the ball in between each other, and it's usually one or two guys in the middle trying to take the ball away, right? We see that in Barcelona's practice all the time. That's how Barcelona practice their quick passing, their first touch passing. And that's exactly what Flick did with the team. It was one big rondo. All 11 players were playing one big rondo with the Getafe players within in the middle chasing the ball. And you could see it because as soon as one of the Barcelona players would get the ball, he would get rid of it immediately, sometimes even resulting in bad passes. But they were playing one big rondo. And why was this important? Because as we know, Getafe is an incredibly physical team that looks to disrupt football by playing that 1v1 defense, being, very physical, fouling, whatever they need to do to get the ball away or to take the ball away from their opposing teams. But by doing this big rondo, that kind of nullified that. And even though Getafe did commit a lot of fouls, they didn't commit as many fouls as they usually do because they couldn't commit the foul. Because as soon as they would run towards a Barca player who just got the ball, that Barca player would get rid of the ball immediately. So they couldn't commit the foul. And obviously they were still able to. And obviously there were a lot of periods in the match where it was constantly being disrupted and football wasn't flowing. But overall, Flick's rondo was successful. And even though Getafe were able to disrupt a lot of times Barcelona's flow, they weren't able to do it as much or as well as they usually do when they play against us. And that was the first genius by Hansi Flick. The second tactical genius by Hansi Flick, which helped us get this victory, which, by the way, could have been a much bigger victory had we converted all of our chances or most of our chances, was the usage of Gavi, Fermin, and Dani Olmo as false wingers. And what I mean by that, if you go back and watch, we constantly saw all these three players alternating, drop into the wing, and then cutting into the middle and attacking through the middle. And it would take in turns. Sometimes it was Olmo coming from the wing. Sometimes it was Fermin coming from the wing. Sometimes it was Gabi coming from the wing. So this constant alternation between these three midfielders who would drop to the wing, that cut back into the middle, or the opposite, that constantly kept Getafe's low block defense confused. And they never knew who truly was the winger. I don't know who truly was the winger. Was it Olmo? Was it Gavi? Was it Fermin? I have no idea because they were constantly alternating. So there wasn't a clear winger, not to mention Cancelo was being used super, super deep. And in that, amidst that confusion, Barcelona created a lot of chances at the beginning of the first half, and they created a lot of chances at the beginning of the second half. And that's exactly how Barcelona were able to score both goals. The first one, a great win by Pau Cubarsí, who wins the ball. Pedri takes the ball. What a pass by Pedri. I mean, my God, Pedri is art. Okay, Pedri with the ball is like a painter with a brush. It's like a composer with a pen. It's like a violinist with his violin. And that pass to Fermin Lopez, leaving him 1v1. And then, of course, Fermin Lopez, who now extends his tally if I'm not mistaken, to 13 goals and 17 assists. Crazy numbers by Fermin Lopez. And then, of course, the second goal, another win by Kuwarsi under the line, saves us from a goal. It's a corner kick. And then Robert Lewandowski saying, "Hey, Pedri, I see your assist, bro, and I'll raise you one." It puts in a great pass. Lewandowski, man, channeling his inner Pedri, puts in a great pass to Marcus Rashford, who very cool-headed, takes the ball all the way, 1v1 against the goalkeeper, and scores. And it's a wrap. It's Barcelona. It's Getafe 0, Barcelona 2. So an incredibly intelligent match by Hansi Flick, and it was thanks to his tactics that Barcelona were able to win in a match that, again, most people thought we were going to drop points. We haven't won in that stadium since 2019. I mean, that's crazy. And today we won. We won with ease. And hell, it could have been 4-0-4. It could have been 0-5. Rooney Bardghji had a clear chance in the box that he wasted. Dani Olmo had 3 clear chances in the box that he wasted. Lewy had 1 or 2 chances that he wasted. I mean, this could have easily been a big thrashing, but it wasn't. But nonetheless, it was an important victory. Now, players. I mentioned Pedri with his magic today. Pedri won the MVP, deservedly so. I think the way he just managed the whole match, the way he dictated the tempo, the way he distributed the ball, he was absolutely magisterial. As always, Pedri is the greatest midfielder in the world. But I have to mention Pau Kuwarsi, because today Pau Kuwarsi was absolutely imperial. I mean, this guy, the way he pretty much, I think he won every single duel. He won every single split ball, every single rebound. I mean, you name it. This guy was all over the place. And what amazes me about Pau Kuwarsi, which a lot of people forget, is that he's only 19 years old. But yet when he plays with such calm, with such poise, with it looks like he's 34 years old with like 400 matches on his back. Like, this guy, nerves do not get to him. It doesn't matter what stage it is either. He just plays with such calmness that it's absolutely amazing. And for people who've been complaining about Kuwarsi and saying we should sell him, he's not good, please stop, okay? Stop. Go watch another sport. Football is clearly not for you. Anyways, and then other plays I want to talk about is Rooney Bardghji, man. Disappointing. I thought he would really take this opportunity to kind of, show us what he has. He still looked nervous. He still looked scared to make mistakes. He didn't seem like he wanted to risk losing the ball. And Rashford, who, by the way, my assessment of him doesn't change. I don't think we should sign him. I think he looked much better on the wing than did Rooney Bardghji. And I think a better solution for the remainder of the season, I think, is to have Rashford in the place of Lamine Yamal, or at least until we secure the title. And then once the title is secured, yeah, we can have Rooney just so we can have more minutes and continue developing. But definitely a very quiet match by Rooney Bardghji. I think the best thing is to send him out on loan. I don't think because people say, okay, we need Rooney to play, right? So he can get the minutes so he can develop. Fair. But here's the thing. To be able to play for Barca, you have to be within a certain range of quality, right? If you're down here at the bottom of that range and you need minutes to get up here, that's fine, because your bottom is still acceptable. So you can get the minutes and you can play, and hopefully the more you play, the more you get towards the top, right? But Rooney is below that range. And sure, with minutes, maybe eventually he'll make it into this range, but he's too below that range. And you can't have a player that's very below the range playing for you, period, as a starter or as a sub. So I think the best thing will be is to send Rooney to loan next season, have him play somewhere else where that range that you need to be at is lower, because it's a mid-table team, whatever, and he can develop and he can continue improving, and then eventually make it into this range of quality that you need to be at to be a Barca player. And then he can come back summer of, what would it be? Summer of 2027, and then he can start getting quality minutes at Barcelona, and we can see Lamine Yamal rest better. But I don't think Rooney is ready to get the minutes that he needs to become better, if that makes sense. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was just nervous today. Maybe it was the pitch, which was absolutely garbage at Getafe. I mean, Gerard Martin almost got injured. Like, for fuck's sake, how does La Liga allow this fucking pitch to even be used? I have no idea. I don't know. But I think until we secure the La Liga title, I think we need Rashford to be in that position. Again, my assessment of Rashford is still the same. We should not spend money on him. But for now, we have him until the end of the season. I think we should use him on the right wing until we secure the title. And then after that, Rooney can play all he wants. He can mess up all he wants. It doesn't matter. By then, we will be champions. So who cares whether we drop points, don't drop points, anything. Obviously, it's better if we get all the points possible and end up with 100 points. But, you know, if the title is secure, the title is secure. Right. And I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Again, Kubarsi was absolutely phenomenal. Pedri was phenomenal. I felt like that. Dani Olmo. I really liked Dani Olmo's match today. Even though he had 3 clear chances that he wasted, I think he just needs to finish work on his finishing. But I really liked Dani Olmo today. He was very, very active in the attack. He was participating very well, combining well with his teammates. I really liked that. I wish he didn't miss those chances. At least score one of the 3. But nonetheless, I liked his match. And besides that, not more to say. I mean, 11 points clear of Real penalties, and the Liga title looks more and more Blaugrana with every passing week. Now, I do have to say, and you probably saw it on the thumbnail, I think this was another referee and robbery. And you might say, Mo, are you seriously complaining about the ref? We won. We're 11 points clear of Real Madrid. And my answer is yes, absolutely. These are the matches where we have to complain about the ref. It's the matches where we win, because it's not an excuse, right? If you lose, if you draw points, it just looks like you're looking for excuses. It looks like you're just complaining because you're crying. But no, these are the matches where we do need to complain about the refs, because guess what? We won. So it's not an excuse. We're not crying. It's the reality. The ref today robbed us again, because in the first half, clear penalty on Dani Olmo. Clear as day penalty on Dani Olmo. Not only does the ref miss it, VAR doesn't even intervene. Towards the end of the match, clear penalty on Marc Casado. I mean, they hold him and they pull him back. And because they pull him back, he ends up kicking the ball over the goal. Clear as day. Way clearer than the Dani Olmo one. 2 clear penalties. Not only does the ref miss them, but VAR doesn't even bother to check them. I mean, it was a clear robbery to me. There was a really bad foul on Dani Olmo where they stepped on his heel. Remember, Ferran Torres did that. He had a red card. Fermin Lopez did that. He had a red card. They do it to Dani Olmo. Not even a yellow. I mean, we should have had 2 penalties and a red card in our favor. In this match, would have probably ended up 0-5, 0-6. Who knows? But a clear robbery by referee. And again, these are the matches where we need to be complaining about the ref, because guess what? It's not an excuse. I'm not crying here. We won. There's nothing to cry about. Well, we do have to complain about the ref. And in fact, when we become champions of La Liga, Barcelona need to go back and compile a file of all the horrendous refereeing mistakes. I'm not talking about the split decisions where, it's 50-50. It can go this way. It can go that way. It didn't go in our favor. No, not those ones. Those ones, shit happens, right? No, I'm talking about the clear, gross misconduct by the refs. Like today, like the penalty on Casado. That's not a 50-50. That's a clear penalty. Okay, that step on Olmo's heel really high up the leg with the studs out, that's not a 50-50. That the VAR should have at least reviewed it. Those the calls I'm talking about. Barcelona should go back, compile a list of all the horrendous, gross errors by these refs, compile a file, and present it to La Liga, to the CTA, to the Royal Spanish Football Federation, because guess what? That's not crying, because if we become champions, that's not an excuse on why we didn't win La Liga. That's not Real penalties where every time they drop points, they blame it on the ref. No. This will be, look, we won, but I'm still going to bring this up because you guys fucking suck. And something needs to be done, because this is absolutely unacceptable. These refs are even worse than Getafe's pitch. And that says a lot, because Getafe's pitch was absolute garbage. But anyways, I don't want to keep getting mad, because, ladies and gentlemen, we won 0-2. First win at the Coliseum since 2019. 11 points clear of Real penalties. And ladies and gentlemen, I can smell this La Liga title. All right, let's do a few comments and then we'll end this. But congratulations to the team. And by the way, how beautiful was it for Fermin Lopez to celebrate his goal and dedicating it to Lamine Yamal? I mean, this is a family. This is not a team. This is a family, and it's clear every single day that this is a family, not a team. Beautiful, beautiful gesture by Fermin Lopez, who pretty much, it's a clear message. This team plays for each other. Whether they're on the pitch, on the bench, or injured at home like Lamine, these players play for each other. They play for each other. They play for their coach, Hansi Flick. They play for this badge, and he plays for these colors. And that is the difference between us and Real Penalties, who signed Kylian Mbappe supposedly so they can destroy Europe, and instead they've destroyed themselves. Because it doesn't matter how good your players are. It doesn't matter how much money you spend. If you don't play together, if you don't have cohesion, it's not going to work. It is a team sport. This is not boxing. This is not tennis. It's a team sport. And these players show us every day how close they are to each other, to their coach, and the love that they have for this club. All right, let's do some comments. James says, Cubarsí and Pedri were the two standout players today. I can't wait for El Clásico and getting to clinch the title for the second straight season in front of Real Penalties. Amen, my friend. Yes, Pedri was a magician with the ball, and Pau Cubarsí was freaking the reincarnation of Paulo Maldini and Puyol all together today, because today Cubarsí was absolutely imperial. And Magazine says, what's up, Mo? Great day and some great news for all Barca fanatics. What do you think of the test for the team without our best players? And I mean, we passed it with flying colors. And like I said, I said in the podcast, I was like, hey, Lamine Yamal, obviously a big blow. But I said, in this team I trust, and in Hansi Flick I trust as well. And well, today they showed me why I trust them, the team and Flick, because, well, today they passed with the flying color. Would it have been better to have Lamine Yamal? Absolutely. Would we have scored maybe an extra goal if we had Lamine? Absolutely. But at the same time, I didn't feel the absence of Lamine. And again, this is not to take away from what Lamine does for the team. Obviously, he's incredibly important. But it wasn't like, oh, my God, look at Barca. They're struggling. We suck so bad because we didn't have Lamine. And it's like, no, I didn't feel that. I didn't feel the absence of Lamine. Again, not to take away from what Lamine does, because he's the best player in the world. But that's how good these players are together as a whole, as a team, where even when we miss our best player, not to mention our two best players, because not just Lamine, Coutinho is also injured. No wingers. We had no wingers today. No wingers. Let that sink in. No wingers. No right winger. No left winger. And the team worked. And it worked fine. And it wasn't like, oh, my God, like the whole time I'm nervous. Oh, I can't wait for the whistle to blow. I can't wait for this match to be over. No. It worked. It completely worked. I mean, that's crazy, man. No wingers. Show me a team that can play like that with no wingers, with both of your starting wingers injured. You won't find it. Blaurana X says, man, imagine spending 300 million euros going trophyless 2 seasons with the help of the referees. You know what? Yes. Not only are they going trophyless 2 seasons in a row, spending all that money, and with the help of the refs. Someone explain that to me. How do you get so many penalties in your favor, where you're the team with the most penalties in your favor in all of Europe, not in Spain, in all of Europe, and you're still going to go trophyless? I mean, you have to try to be that bad. Not be that bad. You have to try to be like, my goal is to be the worst. Like, that's the kind of goal I think this team's Real Penalties set for themselves. It's crazy. Kid Prodigy says, Mo, today's my birthday and I'm first present. Wait, I thought yesterday was your birthday. No? Am I tripping? Anyways, it doesn't matter. Happy birthday, my friend. I'm glad you got this cool gift, which is Barcelona's victory and going 11 points clear. Mantamante says, can we afford Osimhen if he costs more than 100 mil? No. Before K Chema says, Cuba. All I have to say, what a performance. Also, I heard that Inigo's contract expires at the end of the season. If Christensen walks away, why not bring him back for one more season? What do you think? I think he has an option to renew for one more. It's 1 year plus 1. So my guess is probably that he's gonna stay because I mean he's making a lot of money, and I don't blame him. This is the end of his career, and he has to think, hey, I gotta live for the rest of my life. Um, so who's looking out for his financial future. Blood on X says FCV need to hire Bo. I'll be down. I'll be down. Faith says agree, and they are so quick to give us yellow cards. Yes, that's another thing. How did Barcelona get 2 yellow cards when the ones committing all the fouls were Getafe? And by the way, the reason why Getafe get away with this disgusting raunchy style of play where it's just like foul, 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 and waste time is because the refs allow it. If the refs start handing out yellow cards, if the refs start saying, we're not going to accept this, guess what? Bordalas would have to go back to the drawing board and figure out a different way how to win. But no, the refs let it happen, and here we are. JBJ says, I will even go as far as saying that if a higher percentage of 50-50 calls is against us, that could be included as well because it's an evidence bias. That's true. And Faith says, what did you think about Gabi Mo? I really think he's slowly getting back to his best, and I'm really excited about it. I think so too. He just came back from an incredibly long injury, but yeah, he's slowly getting back there. And of course, we're going to need him for the end of the season. We need 2 more victories, assuming that Madrid don't drop points. And, we're going to need all of our players for these 2 matches. Plauana X says, sometimes mismatch makes the egg hatch. I like it. I like that. How would egg hatch if they're mismatched? I'm trying to think. But anyways, I like that. Barca for life says, is there a reason why Ferran Torres didn't play today? I'm guessing Flick was probably trying to rotate and knowing that, Getafe, you get very few chances against them because of their style. He probably wanted someone who has a better guarantee of scoring a few chances, right? Because Ferran misses a lot until he finally gets a goal. And against a team like Getafe, where you have very few chances, you don't want a guy who's going to miss them all. You want someone who has a better conversion rate, which, of course, is Robert Lewandowski, even though today he didn't score. But, hey, he provided that great assist. Who knew? Who knew Lewy had some inner Pedri in him? And Beaver Kochema says, Osim had his value at 75 currently. We strike a deal for 90-95 and then 55 to 60 Bastoni. We don't pass our limit of 150. Yeah, but then that leaves us without a left winger, and we need a left winger. We can't just have Rafinha, right? We need someone to compete with him. But anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. An incredibly important victory today. A hard-fought victory, 0-2 at the Coliseum, a stadium we hadn't won at since 2019. And, of course, the most important thing is we're 11 points clear of Real penalties. If we win against Osasuna and they drop points, we're officially champions. If we win against Osasuna and so do they, then, well, El Clásico will be the decider, where a victory by Barcelona or a victory would seal the deal and would mean that we are champions of La Liga against Real Madrid in El Clásico at the Camp Nou, at the first El Clásico since the Camp Nou reopened. And we do have a donation. Let's fucking go. Hey, Sajog, thank you so much for your incredible generosity. But Sajog says this was Pedri's best performance in recent games, but I still think he's too tired to perform at his top level, only by his standards. It was an incredibly important game, and hopefully once we secure the league title, Pedri can rest because, of course, he does have the World Cup coming up. And I think Spain has a good chance. I mean, Spain has a lot of crazy talent, man. With Pau Cubarsí in the backline and next to Huijsen, with Pedri in the midfield, with Lamine on the right. Nico usually shines with Spain. I mean, even, what's his name? The guy who went from Real Sociedad to Arsenal. I'm blanking on his name. Anyways, that guy, he's been great as well. Man, I think Spain has a good shot. And Barca Reloaded says, didn't get a chance to watch the game. I was at work, but I see Cole's complaining about Koundé. Was he that bad? Bro, I don't know what's going on with Koundé. I don't even want to talk about it. But yes, he was. Before KCH says, if Monaco activate Fati's deal, would it help us? Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's 12 million. First of all, you remove Fati's salary, which is incredibly high, off your books, leaving space to register other players. And 2, you get 12 million euros that you can spend towards a signing. So, of course, it would help. Lorenzo says, I don't believe Madrid fans actually think they had a chance. Yo, so check this out. I don't follow YouTubers who English speaking YouTubers. All the YouTubers that I watch, whether it be Barca YouTubers or Madrid, they're all Spanish speakers. But anyways, I was watching this compilation of reaction of Madrid YouTubers, and when Real Madrid scored the goal against Real Betis, every single one of them was saying, "The race is on. The race is on. We're at 6 points. We're 6 points behind Barca. We have El Clásico. We'll win the Clásico, and then it's gonna be 3 points, and we're gonna take it all the way to the end of the last match of the season." They were all saying that, every single one of them, and I'm like, well, this is awkward because it was 6 points. Real Betis score, so now it's 8 points. Barca win today, and now it's 11 points. So they went from we're at 6 points to 11 points in less than 24 hours. But yes, they really did think they have a chance. I mean, technically speaking, they still do. But I mean, for that to happen, we're talking about Barcelona losing every single match from here until the end of the season, and Real Madrid winning every single one. And it's highly, highly unlikely, because not only I don't see Barcelona losing, because even when Barcelona play bad, they still win. But I don't see Madrid winning every single match, because that's how bad they are. But anyways, now we will end. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for being here with me on this late Saturday night. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Vis Barça.